Making money is the reason we all started playing drums, right? No, that is absolutely not the reason we all play drums, but if you want to have a career as a drummer and musician, there's a few things that you need to do. So what we're going to do in this video is I have 5 ways of making some money. Some of them you would have expected, they're a bit predictable, but other ones are not as predictable and it might be something you've actually never heard of. Let's get right into it. We learn drums to be able to perform, right? So gigging is one of the primary ways of making some money. Obviously, with the pandemic, me personally, I haven't played a gig in 2 years almost. 2 years? 1 year. It feels like it's been 2 years. So gigs are a bit dry at the moment. But in a normal world, you play gigs, you earn some money. You could be playing drums at like a coffee shop, at a bar, playing some jazz or something. Cover bands are massive, and one very, very well-paying job is wedding gigs. It might suck your soul out because you have to play covers of songs that you've heard a million times, but it is a pretty profitable business, weddings. So wedding bands, they tend to do quite well. But if you're trying to make money now by gigging, there's not much you can do because we all need to stay safe and inside. One idea is like Twitch streaming. I've seen drummers, they literally just play drums on Twitch and people request them to play songs and they do that. And you can donate to them. So you can make money through just being online and live streaming, just playing drums and stuff. So that's one way of doing it. If you can get out and play some gigs, that's the best way of doing it. Teaching. So this business is booming no matter what you're talking about, whether it be music, whether it be like tech, whether it be business, finance. Teaching is everywhere and everyone has something to say to someone who doesn't know what they know. So teaching drums is a really good way of making some income as a drummer. One thing that people will say is they'll think that they can only teach drums after getting to a certain level. They'll be like, well, how can I teach if I'm not even that good? I'm like bordering on intermediate. My opinion on this is that if you can play a beat and someone can't play a beat, then you can teach them to play a beat and you can charge them some money to learn that. Whether you are some super advanced drummer who's as good as like Dave Weckl or those guys, or if you've been playing drums for 1 year, you can teach someone to play drums and you can make a little bit of cash from doing that. With the recent boom of online businesses and stuff, websites like Fiverr make it easier than ever to just find some online students. If you set up Zoom or Skype lessons, you can just do those. You can teach people from around the world. This is something that I do. I've taught quite a few people from different countries, so like Dubai, America. Zoom lessons are pretty cool. They're just not as regular as you would have if you had in-person lessons. So if you can find some students in person, it is a lot better than Zoom lessons, but Zoom lessons are also, they're pretty good. Speaking of Fiverr, one of the best ways of making a little bit of cash on there is to do remote recording. So you'll have people that they make music but they don't have a drummer, they don't want to program the drums themselves, or they want to have an organic sounding drum kit in their track. So they'll pay people on the internet to record drums, send that track through to the original composers. That's a good way. Fiverr is probably the best place to go look for stuff like that. Something that people might say is, well, I don't really have like recording skills, so like how my drums aren't going to sound that great. The answer to that really depends on who you are and who you're sending the drum track to. Some people, they don't need like the most well-produced drum track. One idea that would make recording drums so much easier is to get an electronic drum kit, because then you don't need to worry about marking and mixing and EQing and stuff, because electronic drums, they just connect to your computer via USB. It already sounds good, it's sampled sounds. I've heard of a lot of people that do that, and it's so much easier than using the whole studio microphone setup. So if you're looking to make some cash, you don't know about mics, use an electronic kit, it's a lot easier. Now that we've gotten those 3 predictable ones out the way, I got 2 more that you may not have heard of. So the first one is to hire out gear. This has the potential to be an extremely popular and profitable business. If you're someone who loves drums and you love collecting drums and you have gear, people will pay you to use it for events and stuff, because oftentimes bands and musicians, they'll play at an event, but the event needs to supply the gear. A lot of times those events they'll try to outsource the gear from people, and that could be you. If you're someone who has like 4 drum kits at home, rent one out, make some money. It's passive income. You don't really need to be doing anything. You just give the person your drum kit and they bring it back. Obviously set up some protective guidelines and keep your gear safe, but it is very, very potentially a profitable business. I've heard of people that have bought like 5 Tama Star Classic drum kits. That's a really good kit. If you have 5 of them, you could have one weekend, you could rent it out to 5 different venues and you could make your money back for the one kit just like that. So if you just keep doing that, your money is just going to keep growing and you're eventually going to pay off the kits with how you've rented them out and stuff. The reason this works so well is because if you have a really high quality drum kit, it will be really desirable by people, because famous artists, they come with bands and the bands will have a tech rider. You call it a tech rider in the music world. That tech rider tells the venue what equipment they need. So a drummer will say, I need a Yamaha recording custom or a Tama Star Classic or a Pearl Masters series. A Pearl Master series. So the venue needs to outsource a drum kit that's on that level for that artist, because if they supply the artist with something that's like a lot cheaper and weaker than that kit that's set on the tech rider, they have the right to like not play. So that's what tech riders do. And if you're hiring out gear, you have so much potential to just rent out that gear and make a lot of money. The last idea for earning some cash would be content writing. So if you speak English and you know about drums, someone will pay you to write articles about these drums so that their website has content. And there are so many websites on Google that do this. They do what is called affiliate marketing. So if you type in 10 best drum kits for rock music or something, and you go look on Google, there'll be so many articles about that. And if you go onto those pages and you see like number 3 on that list and you click on it, and then you go buy the snare drum after clicking that link, that website makes money. That's called affiliate marketing. So those websites will outsource content writers to make those articles. And there are a lot of them. So if you're someone who likes to write, you have like knowledge about equipment and stuff, content writing is a good way of making some money that's related to playing drums. And there you have it. That's 5 ways of making money. As musicians in the modern world, we no longer can really just stick to one thing. If you just want to play drums for money, you are going to need to be playing every single night or be playing drums for some huge artist that the whole world knows to be able to actually financially be somewhat okay. So as musicians, we need to diversify where all the incomes come from. And these are 5 ways that really, they do help. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one.